lecturer, Department of CSC, Green University of Bangladesh. In this session, I hand over the session to our host, Nabila. Nabila?
Thank you, ma'am. Would you please share the banner, please? Good morning, everyone. You all to the workshop on Introduction to GIT. On behalf of the IEEE Student Branch, IEEE Computer Society Student Branch Chapter and Computer Science and Engineering Department of Green University of Bangladesh, I am giving you a gracious welcome. I am Sayyidah Nabila Akhtar. I'm your host for this session. Today we have among us Muhammad Mufizul Islam Sir, Lecturer, Department of Computer Science and Engineering of University of Dhaka as the keynote speaker of this session. Muhammad Mufizul Islam is currently working as an applied scientist intern at Amazon. At present, he is pursuing his PhD degree from University of Virginia. He was an ESE UVA Bicentennial Fellow. He was previously working as a lecturer at the Department of Computer Science and Engineering of University of Dhaka. His research interest broadly lies at the intersection of multimodal and multitask learning, self-supervised learning, and human-centered AI. Recently, he started to explore human-animal multisensory system from a neuroscience perspective to design multimodal learning approaches. This session is graced by the presence of the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Green University of Bangladesh, Professor Dr. Muhammad Ghulam Samdani Fakir Sir as the chief guest, Professor Dr. Muhammad Abdul Razzaq Sir, the Honorable Pro-Vice Chancellor of Green University of Bangladesh as our special guest. And this session is chaired by our Honorable Chairperson of Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Professor Dr. Muhammad Saifullah Ajad Sir. Now I'm handing over the session to Professor Dr. Muhammad Saifullah Ajad Sir, our Honorable Chairperson of Department of Computer Science and Engineering and the chair of this session. Over you, sir.
Thank you, Nabila, for your nice introduction. Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Dr. Muhammad Ghulam Samdani Fakir, Vice Chancellor, Green University of Bangladesh. Honorable Pro-Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Muhammad Abdul Razzaq, Green University of Bangladesh. Speaker of our today's session, Mr. Muhammad Mufizul Islam. My dear respected faculty members, respected guests, my dear students and others, Assalamu alaikum and very good day. So at first, I would like to thank to our speaker of today's session, Mr. M.D. Mufizul Islam, for giving us his precious time to discuss one of the important tools which is utilized in most of the software companies. So I believe that this session, from this session, you're going to learn many things, and which you can apply in your in your courses, which you can apply in your job field and other places. I would like to thank IEEE Computer Society Student Branch Chapter, Green University of Bangladesh, IEEE Student Branch, and respective committee of CSC department. So I think our speaker is going to discuss the necessity of GIT elaborately. So I'm not going to discuss about it. So what I would like to share with you is that look, many things actually we learn, many tools we learn, but we seldom get opportunity to utilize in our courses or in our in our daily life. So I believe that GIT is one of the tools that you can utilize in your courses. Like let's say we all implement something, and whenever we implement, if we have this kind of version control, then if you would like to roll back, let's say I'm doing a program and I'm realizing that my previous version was much more better than the existing one. So if I want to roll back, how we can roll back? This was actually previously a great problem, but due to the Git and similar kind of softwares, now we can easily roll back. Again, in case of collaboration, collaborative works. In this pandemic, I think you all are realizing the necessity of online collaboration. So in those cases, Git can help us a lot. So my request to you all is, whatever you are going to learn our courses, we have different projects. We have group projects, we have group assignments, we have theses, we have capstone project. Over there, definitely you can utilize Git and try to apply the concept which you are going to attain from attending today's session. So again, I would like to thank our today's speaker, MD Mufizul Islam, and I'm going to request him to start his session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for such a warm introduction. So let me share my screen. Can you can confirm whether can you see my screen? Okay, cool. Yeah, I think I do not need to give any of my introduction because previously I think I have already already gave some warm introduction. So yeah, I currently I'm working as a PhD student, but previously I was in University of Dhaka as a lecturer. So my current research interest is just about the multimodal learning. What is the multimodal learning is that when we have, let's say, different sensor modality, how we can utilize, let's say, visual, language, and other sensory modality system. So that's my research interest, how we can understand the human instruction and how we can, the robots can, or the other AI systems can understand the human instructions appropriately. So that's my main research goal. But yeah, today I will not describe about my research. But yeah, if you are interested and know more about me, you can just go to my portfolio and we have all the details. So let's start our session. So obviously it is not a class session. So I would love to take some questions. So it will be an interactive session. So there will be no just presentation like that. I will handwritten. It will be very hands-on session. So that's why if you guys didn't install the Git, I already share a link in the chat. So please please install the Git and then we can work together. And during the session, if you have any question, just feel free to ask anytime. Just unmute yourself and just ask directly in whatever language you prefer, in Bangla or English, it doesn't matter. Or you can also send your question in the chat if you want. I will monitor the chat also, but if I skip anything, then just remind me anytime. Okay, so before starting our session, I want to ask just a simple question. I think I do not have the permission to ask the question, but yeah, could you please raise your hand if you didn't hear about Git previously? You can find the raise hand button option in the chat or I think the reaction anywhere. So please just raise your hand if you didn't hear. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Yeah, we have some participants. Cool. Yeah. So then I will start from very beginning. So you can unraise your hand. So I will start from very beginning level. So if you have any question, any confusion, just let me know at any time. Okay. So actually what is Git and why, actually main important thing that why we need actually Git. So for example, if is it matter if we have any, let's say if we work in the CS background or in the software engineering field or in what field we actually need Git. In general, we need Git in any field. It is not just for the software development, or let's say if we need programming, if we need to write programming or some coding based project, it doesn't just confined in a particular area. So in every field we need Git. So why? Let's take an example. Let's say we have a project, or we need to write a document. Let's say we need to write a document in docx, and now we need to edit that document in, let's say, in several days, or in every days, or let's say after some days. Now let's give a name of that. So let's assume that our project name is lockdown. Then after some days, let's say we need to change that document or that project. And we also need to retain the previous version. That means we need the previous version, and also we need to change that document or that project so that reflect the new changes. But at the same time, we do not want to lose our previous version. So what we generally do, we rename that project, we copy that project, and we rename that and a new name. So let's say lockdown, limited lockdown. And after some days, we need to change it again. So we give another name. So it's a version 2, and so on and so on. So we created these types of version several times. And I think we generally do these types of things, let's say in any types of, when we are writing in a document, we just simply copy and paste and rename it in a defined name. So what is the problem? The problem is that, the first problem is that the memory issue, obvious thing. Let's say you have your project size is 100 megabytes. So if you create 10 version, then the project size with the version will be around 1 GB, right? But in general, let's say in a software development field, there will be no 10 version. There will be more than 100 version. If you just go to even in a Google Play Store, you can see that there is a release in almost every week. So that means they have the project version in every week, and they're changing that project version. And now we can imagine that if they just copy and paste that project multiple times, then what will happen? The memory size will be increased exponentially. And the most important thing is that it will be very hard to track down. That means, let's say, if we want to go back to a particular version, we just need to search and go to that, find that file, and then trace back to that version. So it will not be easier. So if you have 100 version, so it will be very, very difficult to find out that what will be the appropriate version and what will be the name for that. So it will not that much easier to just trace back. And so that's why it will be very, very complicated to just manage those version of that system. And here comes Git. So Git is an approach which can help to, you can say that smartly managing the version system of a file. So instead of just renaming, copy pasting a file and rename that file into the, let's say, v1, v2, v3, and so on, final version v1, final version v2, and so on, so on, so on. In the Git, you can manage those versions very, very smartly. And I will show you that how you can manage those versions smartly in a couple of minutes. But again, you may think that, yeah, the Control-C, Control-V, the very easiest solution at this moment. So just Control-V and Control-C and renaming that version. But I can assure you that it will be very difficult in future to just managing the version. So at first, yeah, I can understand that it is a bit difficult to learn those things. But after this session, I believe that you will find that there is just a few command. For example, I think there is 5 to 6 command will be enough to just use the gate. So there will be just simply 5 to 6 command. But if you need advanced thing from the gate, then you may need more. But if you just remember those 5 or 6 command, then you'll be fine and you can easily use Git and GitHub. Obviously, I will explain all of these things, that what is Git and what is GitHub. Just bear with me for a couple of minutes. So kind of now let's start with our Git, how we can use Git. So let me change my screen. Can you guys see my command line screen? Can you see the command line?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. So let's assume, so at first, let's say we have a project directory. So let's create a project directory. This is just a simple project directory. You can use any. So make directory. Let's say let's give a name to repo, or let's give a name of that. Let's say give a name to Git tutorial. Yeah. Okay. Git tutorial. So this is our just a simple Git project, just a folder. Now let's make let's create some file. For example, let's say create a very simple Python code. How about this? So I'm just using the Vim editor. You can use any of your editor. Just create a file, name it as anything you prefer, then write some code there. So I'm writing a very simple Python code. It is, hello world. If you guys, okay, sorry. Could you please mute yourself? Okay, so just write just a simple Python. I wrote just a simple Python code, but you can write anything you want. It doesn't need to be any Python code or anything. You can just simply create a text file. So that's our just a fast file. Now we'll create a Git repo. So what is Git repo? So at first we need to initialize some. We need to create some default config, some and default configuration file. So that means we for this reason we need to create a Git Git repo and initialize that Git repo for that. So what is the command for the Git initialization? So Git init, just simply. So this is the first command, Git init. So at the very beginning, you need to run this Git init command for only once when you are creating a new Git repo. At first, you just only need to run this command only once. So just create, and it will create a Git repo. And you can see that it creates a Git repo in .git directory. And if you just write a command ls-l, you can see that there is a folder which is .git. So what is the inside of that .git? So if we just go to that, so there is some bunch of things, but you do not need, even I do not know all of these details, that what is that. Yeah, I know some of them, but yeah, actually we do not need to know what all of this meanings, because we do not need this Git library. We just need to run some of the command, and that's it. So and they the Git will use those files in .git folder to maintain our version. Now, so that's the first Git command. So we need to initialize that. Now we will need to execute some of the command. So I will explain that what is the reasoning to run all of this command. So the first command we need to run is the git add, and then you will list some file name. Here you will list some file name. So what is the purpose of the git add? The purpose of git add is to know the Git that the Git should track those files, the changes in this file. So simply, we are letting the Git software give software to know that we want Git to track those files. So if we change anything in future, then Git should track those files. So that is the purpose of the git add. So if we want to add hello.py, this is our only file in that directory, to know that Git, so to just tell the Git that, hey Git, just track hello.py files. And if I change anything in future, just track those. So that's the purpose of git add, just letting the Git know that you should track that file. So now we need to give, so this is the whole command, git add hello.py. Okay. So, and, but before executing that, there is another version of git add, which is git add dot. What is the meaning of that? So it means that we want Git to track all the files in the directory. So we can specify that which file we want to track. That's one way. And another way is that if we want to track all of the files inside that, let's say, Git tutorial repository, then we can use just a simple shortcut, which is dot. So dot means that you need to Git needs to we are requesting Git to track all the files in the directory. So at this moment we can use hello.py or dot anything because there is only one file in that folder. So we add that git hello.py. Now the second command, okay, it's the third command, I think. So this is git status. So in the git status, if we run, if we execute that, we can see that there is a bunch of information. I will explain some of this later. There is a name on branch master. There is a name, there is a thing branch. I will explain it a bit later. So there is the initial commit thing. And then there is a list of log, which tells that there is a new file hello.py. So if we just go to, if we trace back a bit, so we already request Git that using git add.hello.py. Using that command, we requested that the Git should track the hello.py. And now the Git is Git finds a new, when we run the git status command, Git found that there is a new file, because you already requested that the Git should track hello.py. Okay. So this is the third command, git status. Now, so Git is tracking all good at this moment. Now we need to create a version. So here's come our versioning. So how we can create a version? So there is a command which is git commit, and am is a flag for adding a message. So we can name this or add some comments for this version. For example, let's say we change something or we fix a bug. Let's say we fix a bug of floating point exception, something like that. And now we fix that, and now we need to create that version and also add a message, so that we in future, if we see that version, so we can remind ourselves that what we changed previously. So we can, let's say, as this is the first commit, generally in general, we just say that it is a first commit, or you can say initial commit, anything. So any message you want here, or you can say that add hello world print command, anything you want. So that is for the purpose of, let's say, remind yourself when you will see this version in future. So that is purpose of the git commit. So in summary, the command is git commit minus actually dash am. So am is the purpose for adding a message, and then we add a message here. So this is the commit, and using this command, we are making a version. So that is the purpose of git commit. So let's execute that. Okay. So we got an actually error here, not error, actually warning. Git is not allowing us to commit or creating version because Git is requesting some information here. And this information you need to provide to the Git when you first time install the Git. So what is the purpose of that? So Git wants to track who is creating this commit so that he can track. So this is very important for when you when 2 or 3 members in a team is collaborating in a project, so that when we are merging all of this information, so we can track those, that who is committing is which version. So these two commands you need to execute when you first time install Git. After that, you do not need to execute those. But if you want to change that, then you can execute those commands again to change that. So let's execute that command, git config global user.email. Okay. Then give the name. So, okay, so we config our user email, username, whatever you have. And now it is configured appropriately to create a version. So let's run that command again. So git commit -am. Now it says that, yeah, it added a commit and the there is a number, which is hash number. I will show you that what is the hash number is meaning. Then the message add hello world print command, 1 file change, 1 instruction change. There was only 1 line in that command, in that file, and it shows all of the details. There's a status. Now, if we run git status command again, now it shows that nothing to commit, working directory is clean. So there is no changes in the directory, so that it so git doesn't didn't find any changes there. So our directory is clean. All of this is file is tracked or version appropriately. Now let's change our hello.py a bit. So let's hello. Let's add some. So I just add some random thing here. You can add anything. So we change hello.py, and we add some bunch of instruction there. Now just print the git status. Now when we execute the git status command, it can identify that, yeah, there is a modification in the hello.py, and now the directory is not clean. So previously, when we execute the git status command, we can see that it shows that the working directory was clean and there is nothing to commit. Now, when we run the git status command again, now the message is changed because now we add bunch of instruction there. So we change the hello.py. So now we need to, so if we need to now commit, then let's run the commit again. It commit minus, that means if we need to create another version, add some operation, this simple thing, this is simple message. So now we can see that the status that the 4 instruction is added. So we add 4 lines. So it can track that what was the changes and what we added there. So we created 2 versions here. So if we want to see that what is the what was the previous all of this version, there is a command which is git log. We can see that git log, and we can, if we execute the git log command, we can see all of the details, then who did all of the version and who created those version and when and what was the commit message, etc. Okay, so that is how we can create version. So that is some of the command you need to know to just start using Git. Now we created a version, we know that which of the version is, etc., etc. Now the questions comes that how we can trace back, or how we can go to the previous version, how we can compare those, how we can let's say create a new version of this project and then switch back and forth, etc. So we can easily do this by using a branch operation. And another thing is that git diff. So there is a some other commands also. So at this moment, I will love to take some questions if you have any. So this is a very beginner thing. So using those commands, you can just start using Git. There is you do not need to need other commands at this moment. But I will cover other things later. But if you have any questions, you can ask me now. I would love to take some questions if you have any. Okay. So that means I am very good speaker. Okay. Yeah, I was kidding. I know that there's some confusion maybe, but if you have any question, you can, yeah. Rakibu, raise your hand. So do you have any question? You can just unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, thank you so much. I just a little bit question, a simple question. What is the difference between AM and just M? In your comment.
Yeah, I actually do not remember the exact thing. Maybe it's appending those comments there. Maybe I exactly do not remember that. What is the difference between the AM? That's AM and M. But as far as I remember that it was for appending new messages in that commit. So. For example, when you are committing creating a version, you can add the message there, but you can also add the message without that flag also. So that's the difference between the -M, A, and M.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Anything else? Okay, so now then let's our next part, which is identifying the which is creating a new version and trace back to the previous version. So now let's see, let's modify that file again. Or create a new file. How about this? I created a new file where I so just a simple file I created. I add some bunch of text. Again, we don't need to understand that a bit, but essentially what I did is get two variables and create a summation program. Okay. Now just close that file. So we already have that. Now run the git status command again. Now we can see that there is now the message is changed a bit. So if we see, if we check the previous message, when we just modify that, it shows that modified hello.py. Now it shows that the untracked files here, previously it shows that change not state for commit and there is a modification in the file. Now the message is changed. It shows that it's untracked file because the add.py is not tracked. We didn't request the Git to track that new file add.py. So how we can request the Git to track that file? So there is a command which we already know, that git add. So using that git add, we can request Git that you should track that add.py. So simply that. So let's add that git.add.py. Now run that git status command again, and now it shows that there is a new file. Now it is tracking that new file. Now we need to create a version. Before that, let's try to compare that what we actually changed. So let's compare with the previous version. So let's go how we can compare those previous versions. So let's run the git log command. So the last version was this one, add some operation. How we can now compare this git log, the previous version with the new modification, that what we actually changed here. So we can do this very simply. There is a command which is git diff, and in git diff we need to give the first couple of digits. Actually depends on how we can uniquely identify. So identify a version. So this hash, this is called the hash code or hash ID. So each of these versions, when we created a new version, that means when we execute the git commit command, it created a new version, and this version have a unique ID. So Git generate a unique ID for each of these versions, but you do not need to remember all of this because if you just run git log, obviously you can get that ID, but you do not need the whole ID. You just need some first couple of 6 or 8 digits to uniquely identify that version. So I can just copy the first couple of digits, 6 or 8 digits or something like that. So just copy that and git paste. So then if you execute that, so it can now show you that what was the changes. So you can see that. So in the add py, you added this instruction. So you added a equal to 100, b equal to 50, c equal to a plus b, and print, and those 4 instructions. You added those instructions. How about changing the previously hello.py? hello.py, just delete a line. So I delete these 2 lines simply. Although this will give a error, but just change in that way. So we delete some lines from hello.py. So we changed 2 things. One is we created a new file add.py, and we deleted some of the lines from we add a new file add.py, and we delete some of the lines from hello.py. Now run the git status command, and we can see that there is a new in the status, there is a new file, and there is a modification in the hello.py. But what was the modification? If we want to know that, just run the git diff command previously, which we ran previously, git diff and the version code. So we do not need the full code, as we explained. We need just first couple of digits to uniquely identify that. It can be a couple of, let's try that. I didn't try with the just 1 digit. Let's try that. Okay, it cannot trace back, so maybe we need a couple of more. Yeah, 5-digit works. So you just need a couple of digits to uniquely that identify those versions. And now if we see that there is a bunch of information here, but the important thing is that this instruction, it shows that plus means that add. So whenever in the git status or git log or anywhere, if you see any plus, that means it adding that stuff. So plus add.py means that we were adding that a new file, and we are adding those instruction. And how about this hello.py? So in the hello.py, we actually deleted these 2 lines, and you can see in the screen that it is a minus, so minus print welcome minus a. So we deleted these 2 lines. So it can track that what changes you made. Using the git diff command, you can see that what was the changes, and you can track those changes. So that's the git diff command. Now let's make it as a let's commit this thing. So git commit minus about this add.py delete instruction from hello.py. Now if we run the git status command, now our working directory is clean, because we track all of this thing, and there is nothing, there is no changes in the directory, so our directory is clean, so there is nothing to track. Now if we run the git log command again, now we can see our new version, which is we just created the add.py delete instruction from hello, this version. So in that version, we made some changes, and then we also made some faulty changes, because in the add.py, the changes was not appropriate. Now let's say we want to go back to the previous version, that means this version. Let's say we want to go to that particular version. How we can do this? So there is a good way to know, a good way to find, but I want to show you another way that you can use in future to use the Git. Actually, just Googling it, how we can change that. Because it is a very simple thing, but I found that most of the time, we are too lazy to just go to the Google and try to find some answer. So let's do this today and try to find that how we can go back to the previous commit. As I just said, just go to the, let's go to the init tab. How you can do that? Yeah, just search that how can we go back to previous commit in Git. So we just search that and let's try to find out the answer. So there is a first link I just opened, and there's a lot of things there, and you can take that. There is a in the Stack Overflow. If you guys not familiar with the Stack Overflow is just a question answering site. So here you can find almost all the things you need to use the GIT. So if you face any problem to use the GIT, just go to the Google, search that, just like I did a bit ago, and then try to find the answer. So how you can find that answer? Let's say you can just read a bit that how it used. For example, at first you need to read the question first, because try to identify that whether the question is matched with you. So how do I revert a Git repository to a previous commit? So how do I something there is that I guess could you please mute yourself a bit? If you have any question, you can ask now. Otherwise, could you please mute? Okay. Cool. Okay, so now, so that means this question is kind of aligned with us. That means what was we are trying to do. That means we want to go back to our previous commit, and that was the same question. Now go to the answer. So generally, you can find the answer in the accepted answer. So this mark is meant for that accepted answer. So if we can try to find out that how it was trying to go back to previous commit. So there is a command git checkout minus, and this is the ID of that commit as we just previously said. There is actually two ways. So it explains in details in both of this way. In the first way, it's a git checkout and ID. So it is called the soft revert or reset. And another is that the hard way. So the git resets hard and the ID. So what is the difference between that? So the difference between that is that if you do not want the current changes and then go back to your one of the previous version, then you can just git reset hard and the ID. Otherwise, you can just, if you just want to just go back to previous commit and want to see what was that, and then want to revert it to your current version, then just you can use the git checkout, this commit version. So let's use the git checkout at first. So just give you a reminder. So there is a 3 version, and we want to go back our previous second version, and the second version ID is this. So let's copy that version. So I just copied first couple of characters. Then the command is git checkout, and that version name. So just copy paste that version. Okay, so we have that version. Now execute that command. Yeah, so it shows some of the information, and it just give you a warning that yeah, you are detached from the current version and you are now in the previous version. Now let's check our files, that whether we are in the previous file. So if we remember, in that version there was not add.py files. So if you just ls command, you can see that there's no add.file. So we are in the previous version. To check further, let's check hello.py. See, we deleted 2 lines, right, and create a new version. Now we are in the previous commit. So we change the version to a previous commit. So that is how simple is that. So you can easily go back to your previous version and then create, or you can change anything, then you can trace back to your previous version easily, just executing only one command, git checkout that command. But there is a problem in that that command. it is not hard reset. So if you change anything, it will impact your current version. So in that way, you need to use this command. So git reset hard. If you want to just go back to your previous version and want to make some changes, then use that git reset hard, that command. Or there is another way I will describe now. So just recap a bit. If we want to see the difference, we will use git diff command. If we want to go back to a previous version, we first execute git log command, find that version code, then use the git checkout and that version ID. That is a simple thing. So using these three commands, git diff, git log, git checkout, you can just go back to any version. So at this moment, if you have any question, I would love to take some question. Then I will show you a very smart way to do the same thing. That means changing the file and then go to a previous version. I would not prefer this way, the way I just show you. That means just committing something and then go to previous version using that commit ID. I will not prefer to use that. I will show you a very smart way, which is called kind of branch way in a couple of while. But if you have any question at this moment, please feel free to ask now, or we can proceed for the further topic.
I would encourage all the audience to ask questions. Then it would be much more interactive, and if you have any gap in understanding, definitely our speaker will help you to fill up that gap.
Okay, so
there is a question posted in chat box. Could you please read it out?
So yeah, we can go that version also. So if I understand your question correctly, so you want to go back to the last version from where we reverted. So the way we can do this is just simply the same thing. Git checkout that ID, this ID, the same way. Just we reverted. So it's the same thing. Test, git checkout, ls. Now you can see that there is a add.py and hello.py. If you check further, hello.py, see the line is deleted. Does it answer your question, Shobhan, Shikhar?
আরেকটা জিনিস, আপনারা যদি বাংলায় কোয়েশ্চেন করতে চান, আমাদের স্পিকার কিন্তু বলেছে আপনারা বাংলায় কোয়েশ্চেন করতে পারবেন, ঠিক আছে? তো শাই না করে আমরা আসলে কোয়েশ্চেন করি, সেশনটা অনেক ইন্টারেক্টিভ বানানোর ট্রাই করি। ধন্যবাদ স্পিকারকে।
Actually, I forgot about one thing, that if you guys also want me to conduct this session in Bengali language, I would love to do that. If you want that, just let me know. Yeah. Cool. Okay, if we do not have any further concern, then let's move on. So at this moment, just recap a bit. So we learned that how we can initialize a Git repository, how we can create version, how we can see the log of that version. And as I promised previously, if you count the number of commands, it's a couple of commands, right? 5 or 6 commands. Let's say, just trace back a bit: git init, git add, git commit, git log, git diff, and git checkout, right? So using these 5 or 6 commands, you can use Git. That's it. That's all you need to use Git. Now questions came that why there is other command there. In that way, you can use all of the Git's in Git features, but there's some smart way you can do some of these things, some of the tasks. Let's say this versioning, how we can go back to previous and how we can go back to the to a current version, how we can do it very smart way. So as we just say that we using git diff, git checkout command, we can just go to any version. But this is not the smart way. There is another way we can do this. So the way we can do the smart way, which is called a branching. So in the branching operation or in the branching way, we can, it is very suitable for if we, let's say, work in a team. Let's assume that we are 3 team members and there is a certain feature each of these team members need to implement. So if we write in one, let's say in one Git repository, then there will be all of the comments in this log. And then if we change to a previous version, then whole repository will be changed. And we cannot, so all of this team member commit or version will be in the single log. But it will be better if we have different log or different versioning system or different sub-versioning for each of these team member. Let's say whatever team member 1 is work in another version, and if the team member 1 develop that feature, then it will merge to a main version. Let's say team member 1 is the team leader. Team member 2 will design a feature A, and team member 2 will implement the feature B, and team member 1 will that means the team leader will validate that whether the feature A is appropriately implemented. If it is appropriately implemented, then it will be merged into the let's say main branch or in the main repository. Otherwise, it will be in a separate versioning system. So that is how it's called branching. So the branching is just like a tree branch. For example, is a tree, it is a main branch, and then there is a sub branches from a tree. So it is the similar thing in the Git. So Git has a main branch and there will be some sub branch. So how we can do this? Let's see. So just run the git status command again. And if you see that head is detached at something, there is a information, but I wanted to show you another thing where it is. I think there is a branch. Yeah. If you see the previous branch, because we already changed something, that's why the branch name is a bit changed. But in the previously, when we run the git status command, there was a branch name. It is branch master. So there is actually main branch, which we were working on it. Now let's create another branch. So this is our first branch, and let's create another branch of that. Let's say it is a sub branch. So let's say we want to implement a subtraction operation. So let's create a branch for that. So the command to create a new branch is git checkout -b. So -b flag means that we want to create a new branch. So add, let's give a name, add sub op. Just simply a short code name so we can understand. So the command is that git checkout -b add sub op, or the name of that branch. If we execute that, now it switched to a new branch, git add sub op. So if we check the git status here, so now it shows that we are on the branch add sub op. nothing to commit, working directory clean. Cool. Now add the sub operation. So I'm just adding a new file here, sub.py. Just writing some bunch of code. So that's the simple thing. I just the simple subtraction operation. Now just save that file, and if we run that git status, so we can see that there is a new untracked file. So it was not tracked at this moment. So as we remember previously, how we can track that? We can use add sub command, git add command. So git add. Now let's use a bit differently. Previously we use git add sub.py, right? Let's use, okay, sorry. So let's use just dot command. So as I mentioned previously, git add dot means that we instructing git to track all the untracked files in that folder. So if we have many untracked files, so it is best way to do this is, and we want to track all of these files. So instead of just writing all of the files name, just add dot. So git add. Now just see that git status. Now we can see that there is a the message is changed. So it shows that there is a new file, so which is sub.py. Now create a version, git commit -m, and this is that sub of is okay. So we commit, we create a version. Now see the status. So it shows that it's working. It is on the add sub of branch, and there's nothing to commit, working directory clean. So we're good, right? And if we run the ls command, there is a, you can see that there is a 3 files here. Now let's see that let's assume that the team leader wants to, so we are in the add sub of branch. So we have a 2 branch. Let me annotate a bit so that we can understand what I'm saying to. So let's say, so we were in the main branch, so we can name it as a we can name it as a master branch. So this is our main branch, and we created a new sub branch from here, and this is our main branch as we mentioned previously, and we created a new sub branch. So can you change it, change the color of that? Yeah, I think I can. So let's give it a new color. So we create a new branch. So the name of this branch is what is the name? Add underscore underscore. So that is our new branch, add sub. And in that branch we are working. Now let's assume that we want to go back to our previous branch. How are we going to do this? Our previous version, as we can say. So the simple way to do this is that, so we have 2 branch. One is the add sub of branch, another is the master branch, which is our previous branch. So if you want to go to the previous branch, the command is to git checkout minus B and the branch name, which is master. So if we execute that command, okay. So so I made a mistake here. So we are trying to create the master branch again, but we already have that branch because minus B flag actually requesting the git to create a new branch which name is master, but we do not want to create a new branch. We already have a master branch, so we do not need this dash B flag. So minus B flag. So we need the minus B flag when we want to create a new branch. But if we want to just switch back to a branch which we already have, we can just remove the minus B flag and just the command will be git checkout master. So just run that command git checkout master. Then you can see that the command, the message that switch to master, switch to branch master. So it already switched. To confirm that, let's check that what is the file is. So the file we already had add.hello.py. If we remember in the add underscore sub underscore op branch, we created a new file, right? Sub.op, but that file is not there. And so that means we switch back to our previous version. But if you want to go back to to the branch with the add sub operation, just run git checkout add sub of, sorry. So add sub of git checkout that branch name, in which branch you want to go. Run that command. So it shows that switch to branch, that branch add sub of. And if you just take ls, there is a sub.py. So that is how much easy we can switch back and forth to any branch you want. And that branch is actually kind of anything you want to add. So what is the best practice when we implement a new feature? So when we work on a new feature, generally what I do is that, let's say if I want to add a new feature in our project, and I'm not sure that whether that feature is appropriate, or whether that feature is bug free, or whether that feature is necessary. So in that case, I create another branch, just like I did here. I create another branch add sub op, and then implement whatever you want, do whatever you want, do whatever changes you want, do there, commit yourself, anything you want, do that branch. And if you in some time, if you want to go back to your previous branch, just you can use git checkout. Now, so in that way, your master is clean. So you in a master branch, there is nothing to worry about that. Whether if, let's say for example, when we are trying to add new feature, there is something we sometimes worry about that. Yeah, if I changes those file, whether it will work appropriately, whether it will run appropriately. So if you have some concern, just create a new branch, implement those features. If it is work, that's okay. You can merge it to the master branch. Otherwise, you can just remove that branch. You can go to trace back to your master branch. Now, let's say at this moment, you are happy with your feature creation. That means the sub operation you created. So now you want to merge that feature into your main branch. That means what I want to do is that merge this. Excuse me, sorry. So merge this new feature which you implemented in the add sub of branch to the master branch. That means you want to changes you want to reflect the changes what you made in the add sub of branch to the master branch. So you want to just merge those two versions. You can imagine in such a let's say the two team member 1 and team member 2 is working on two different things, and team member 1, which is add sub of branch, and team member 1 is the master branch, and team member 2 2 is the add sub op branch. So team member 2 is working in the add sub op branch, implemented sub operation, and he's happy with that feature, and he knows that it is bug free and it is appropriate to merge with the main software. So in that case, team member 2 can request, let's say team member 1, yeah, I implement those features and I know that it is bug free, so let's merge with to the master branch. Then we can merge to the master branch and create a new master, that means main software. Let's say when we want to release that software. So how we can do this? So there is a command, git merge operation. So the command is git merge. Now I want to show you another thing. So if you forgot about any of the command, there is a help option. So git merge help. If you execute that, it will show you a bunch of information. But the most important thing here is that this synopsis, git merge, and then there is some option that what are you want to do. And I actually like this one. If you guys very interested, you can go through their this description. They actually explain all of these things in very great details. If you want to know in details about those operations. And if you just want to quit, just press Q and you will be out of that. So how we can merge that? So let's see in which branch we are right now. So we are right now in the add sub op branch, but we want to merge add sub op branch to master branch. So let's first check out. So go to the master branch first. So now we are in the master branch. Now merge master with the add sub op. So the command is git merge and what branch you want to merge. So we want merge add sub op branch to master branch. So if we execute that command, so it shows that fast forward. Fast forward means that the add sub op branch was the future branch. That means it was the modification on top of the master branch. That's why it is called the fast forward. That means the master branch is now kind of fast forward to a new branch. So that means we are creating this version. So this is called the fast forward. And if we see the other details of that commit, and we can see that there is a one file change and 3 instruction was a change here, and it create another file which is sub.py. So as if you try to remember that previously we do not have the sub.py file in the master branch, but we created that file. Now if we run the, if we try to see that, okay, let me remove that some of this stuff. Okay, so if we execute the git status command again, so we in the master branch, if we run the ls command, that means if we try to see that what is in that currently in that folder, you see that add.py, hello.py, and sub.py. That means if you try to remember that in the master branch, previously there was no sub.py. We created the sub.py in the add sub op branch. Now we merge those two branch. Now it is only one branch there, which is master branch. Cool. So just to recap, if we want to create new version, or if we want to add new feature or want to add change anything, just create a branch using git checkout -b branch name. Do whatever you want, change whatever you need, do there, commit those changes. If you want to go back to previous branch, that means master, just run the git checkout checkout master. There is no -b flag because we use -b flag for when we want to create a new branch. And if you want to merge two branches, just go back, first check out to that branch where you want to merge other branch, then execute the git merge command. So which is git merge that branch name. That's it. So in that way, you can kind of smartly branching and changing and adding new feature. So let's say if you guys working three or four members are working in a project, so each of these member will create a new branch for themselves and change, edit those things, add new feature on the in that branch, specific branch. For example, let's say we have three team members. Team member one will work in the team branch one, and branch two, branch three, so on. And there will be one master branch. Each of these team member will work separately in each of these branch. Then when a feature is implemented, the team leader or someone will take the control and merge those changes from the team, let's say branch one to branch two or branch three to the master branch. So in that way, you can work collaboratively. So that's all for the Git. I think I have 8 minutes left. I will show shortly about another thing, which is GitHub. But at this moment, if you have any question, regarding the previous comments or branching or anything, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I will show the GitHub thing.
You can ask your question in both language, Bengali and English, whatever you prefer.
Yeah, I think one day. Yeah, you can unmute yourself and ask, or you can chat. You can send your question in the chat.
Assalamu alaikum. I have a question. Assume there I have 5 commit under a branch. I want to go back 3rd commit. And assume the 4th and 5th commit have been wrong. Actually, the 4th and 5th commit is not needed now. Now, if I can go back 3rd commit and I want more change on 3rd commit. Actually, I want to start from 3rd commit now. How it possible?
Could you please repeat your question again? Sorry, I was lost a bit on the 4th or 5th commit.
Okay, I want to speak in Bengali for your better understanding.
Yeah.
ধরেন এখানে আমার 5টা কমিট আছে, একটা ব্রাঞ্চের আন্ডারে আমি 5টা কমিট করেছি। তো আমি আসলে 3 নাম্বার কমিটটাতে এখন যেতে যাচ্ছি। 4th আর 5th নাম্বারটা মনে করেন যে এটা আমার রংলি হয়ে গেছে। আমি এখন 3rd নাম্বার কমিট থেকে আমার রিপোজিটরিটা আবার শুরু করতে চাচ্ছি, এবং 3rd নাম্বার কমিটটা আমি কিভাবে ফেচ করব এবং এইখান থেকে আমি আবার কিভাবে কন্টিনিউয়াস রিপোজিটরি আপ করব আর কি।
Just use that command. That's why I was mentioning previously that if you want to change from a particular commit, use that command, git reset hard that commit id. তো আপনাকে যেটা করতে হবে, আপনাকে ওই কমিট আইডিটা বের করতে হবে, যে ওই 3rd কমিট আইডিটা যেটা আমরা git log থেকে পাবো। Then run that command, git reset hard and that commit id. এরপর আপনি ওখানে যেটা আপনি চেঞ্জ করতে চান সেটা চেঞ্জ করলে ওই কমিটির উপরে এখন চেঞ্জ হবে। কিন্তু এটা প্রবলেম হচ্ছে হলো, ইন দ্যাট কেস 4th and 5th কমিট আপনি টোটালি ডিলিট হয়ে যাবে।
রাইট,
আপনি এরপরে 4th আর 5th কমিট পাবেন না। এখন আপনি যেটা পাবেন যে 3rd কমিটের পরে থেকে আপনি চেঞ্জ করতে পারবেন।
আচ্ছা, এই 4th এবং 5th কমিট থেকে কোনোভাবে কোথাও সংরক্ষণ করা কি সম্ভব?
হ্যাঁ, আপনি আরেকটা ব্রাঞ্চ তৈরি করে নিতে পারেন। মানে ওই কমিটে 4th আর 5th কমিটের পরে আপনি একটা ব্রাঞ্চ তৈরি করে নেন, নিউ ব্রাঞ্চ। তা ওই ব্রাঞ্চে আপনার কপি হয়ে গেল সব কমিটগুলো। দেন আপনি হচ্ছে হলো যে আপনি কারেন্ট ব্রাঞ্চ, ধরেন আপনি এখন কাজ করতেছেন ব্রাঞ্চ 1 এ, রাইট? এন্ড ওই এই 1 ব্রাঞ্চের মধ্যে আপনি হচ্ছে হলো 1 2 3 4 5 5th কমিট আছে। সো you want to intake all of these commit. So what you can do, create another branch, branch 2. And that branch 2 actually create on top of that. Then go to the branch 1 and execute that git reset hard that instruction. So the fourth or fifth commit will be deleted from branch 1 only. But that commit will be there in the branch 2. So if you want those fourth and fifth commit, you can just go to the branch 2 and then you can check out that commit.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay, so any more questions? If we do not have, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think we are good. So let's go to our, yeah. So let's go to the GitHub. So I will shortly describe, I will take 5 or 10 minutes for that. Sorry for a bit over. It was I think a bit long.
No
So,
problem. You can take as many time as you require.
Yeah,
we have to learn, so
you.
no problem.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think we almost cover all of the things. Just last thing I want to show you that the GitHub. So GitHub, what is the GitHub? GitHub is just a repository. You can consider it as a how can I say that? It's a Google Drive or Dropbox where you can store your files. So it's a GitHub. GitHub is the kind of Google Drive for Git repository. So you can store your Git repository there. So your Git project. So let's go to the now how we can upload our Git repo. So we already created the Git repo, right? We already created here a Git repo. So now we want to upload that Git repo there. How we can do this? So we need to create a Git repository. So just go to the GitHub, create a new account, and here you will get a an option, the plus button, and there is some couple of options there. So you need to choose the new repository. So let's create a new repository. Give it as a name, git. Let's go tutorial underscore. Yeah. Okay. So now you can add some description there. It's just for what's about this project. Then there's a two option, public and private. So public means anyone can see your repository, anyone can access, download your code. And private means that no one have the access, only you and your team member can get the access. Just leave it public and create repository unless you want the private. So create the repository. Now it shows that the repository is created, but there is some initial helping instruction. That means how you can push the Git repository from your local repository to here. So as you are creating new repository, as we already have the existing repository. So this instruction is for if you want to create new repository. So if you see that there is a command here, git tutorial readme. So actually the first command create a new file which name is readme.md. So using this echo that command, you can create a new file for that. So but you can use your editor to create a new file. Then run the git init, which you already did. Git add, which you already executed that command for some other files. Then git commit, git branch, git remove. Okay, so we executed at these three commands. Now we need to execute the last of the three things. So we generally do not need this command git branch, but it's just renaming that branch to main. So, but the important command here, but we do not need to follow this instruction because we already have a repository. So we can go to the second part. So and push an existing repository from the command line. So how we can do this? So the first command actually adding a remote git link. So the remote git link means that, so if you see that github.com, this is my user ID, Akash, and then this is our project name. So we need to execute this command to let the git, local git, to know that where it need to push the update. So let's just copy paste that command, Control C, and paste that command. Okay, didn't copy there. Okay, sorry. So copy and then paste. So execute that command, it will add that remotely. So now the local git knows where to push. So the next thing is that git branch -m main. So run that command, git branch main. So it just renaming that command, just run that git status. Now see that it actually rename our previous branch master to main. So it's just a renaming that branch. We actually do not need that. The next thing is that git push -u origin main. So that means we want to push the main branch. So let's run that git push origin. So the first portion, git push, we want to push something. So what we need to push? Origin. Origin, as we know, the meaning of the origin is the kind of that, what's the root of that. So which branch we want to push? So origin is actually indicating that. So git push origin main branch. So we want to push the main branch, git push origin main. Okay, there is actually a flag. Yeah. So -u flag. So using -u flag, it shows that push all of the commit previously you committed there, and all of the flags you use. So just push all of the things you previously committed. So git push -u origin, then it will ask you the username. So my username is this one. Then it will ask the password. Cool. So it pushed to the online GitHub. So if you want to check that, just reload this page again. See, you can see all the files here, and we already have only one branch. But if you if you see that there is only one branch here, main. But if you remember that there is another branch also there, right? Add sub branch. Okay. So how we can push that? But it was not pushed because we only push main branch. We didn't push the add sub of branch. By the way, I forgot to show another command, which is that how we can see all of the branch. So if you just execute git branch command, you can see all of the branch you have, and the star means that the current branch. So we are currently in the main branch. So we start indicating that in which of the branch you currently have. Now, if we want to push the second branch, so then git push your origin, the branch name at sub op. So if we want to push that, again, give the name of that. Okay, so this branch also push to the GitHub. So if we just reload that, now if we click that, you can see that there is a two branch. So we have all of the two branch. Now the most interesting thing is that now we have the visual way to navigate all of these things. How we can do that? So we can go to the add sub branch. Now it is an add sub branch. So, and if we go to the main branch, we can go to the main branch. If we want to go to the specific commits, we can see the commit list from here. If we click that commit, then we can see all of the commit here. And if we want to go to that commit version, let's say the first version, what is the add hello or print command, just go to that. You can see all of the details that what you did, what was the changes. Even you can write some comment there also. Even you can go to that repository, browse file, and you are in that fast repository. So in the visual way, you can navigate all of the things. So that is the very smart way you can actually handle all of the versioning. And even you can download that version code. So if you want to download that version, you can just download that version, or you can just git pull using git. There is another command, git pull. So I will not go to that route now. But I want to show another thing. Let me see that whether I can show you that thing. Yeah. See, so in the inside, if you go to the insights, then network, you can see the network of that branch. That means in which branch it is currently in. To show that impact, let's some changes there. So let's add another file, vim multiplication.py a equal to 100, b equal to 4, int a into b. So just a simple multiplication operation file. Write that git status. So there's a new file. So add that git multiply.py, git commit, add multiplication of. Now we need to, so we create a version, git commit. So now we can push that, git push origin main. We can push, we already pushed that. So now reload that. Now we can see that here. So our main branch is fast forwarded. If we zoom a bit, and the add sub branch is a backdated version. So we can easily view what was the status and in which branch, how we can track those branch, what is the current status of the main branch, where it is main branch, where it is the add sub branch. Even from here, you can also browse that thing, browse. Okay, yeah. So you can browse that particular version. I just need to reload that. I think I was zoom a bit. So let's say if you want to go that version in this version, so just click that and you can see that what was the changes in that version. If you want to browse all of the files till that commit, you can just go to the browse file. You can check all of the changes there, and you can change to another version from here also, from drop down. So see, that is how much easy you can easily changes and the version in the GitHub, or you can commit, create a version and just make changes. You can track all of this version very easily. Yeah, that's all for now. There is, yeah, that was, I planned to show you that stuff. If you have any questions, I would love to get some question from you. Otherwise, that's all I need to cover.
Thank you, sir. It was an interactive session about Git. From the participant side, if you have any questions, please feel free to put those questions directly to our keynote speaker by unmuting yourself. আর আপনারা বাংলা বা ইংরেজি যে কোনো ভাষায় যেভাবে আপনারা কমফোর্টেবল প্রশ্ন করতে পারেন।
Okay. Yeah, I think that was great. Maybe if you guys all learn that stuff, then that's pretty good. But yeah, just feel free to use Gate. At first, you may face some hurdle there learning that, but eventually it will help you a lot to manage your project. I can assure you that. Yeah, cool. I think there's no question. So thank you guys for hearing me and inviting me and attending this session. Hope it help you in your future project. Thank you.
Let's go to the next step of this workshop. Now I would like to request Professor Dr. Muhammad Abdul Razak sir, the Pro Vice Chancellor of Green University of Bangladesh, to address the gathering.
Thank you very much, Sada Nabil Akhtar, for your nice anchoring. I was listening to the last part of the content delivered by the today's speaker, the Honorable Vice Chancellor, the chief guest of this program, the chair of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, the keynote speaker, my dear colleagues and students. I hope it was a very wonderful, educative session, and I know the keynote speaker for long. We worked together for long, and I come to know that the GIT has become a very effective tool for controlling the versions of the software systems or any other documents, especially when the question of software development or website development is there. We have to manage many files simultaneously, and the relationship between those files sometimes becomes really complex. And over the course of time, the way in which we do update those codes and the different files, data files, it's really important how the things have been developed, to track how the things have been developed. So GIT has been one of the very popular, most effective version control system, VCS. And as the keynote speaker was explaining, the biggest advantage of GIT is its branching capabilities. Unlike any centralized version control system, the GIT branches are very cheap and very easy to merge with each other. And this is one of the lucrative facilities or the feature that the GIT is offering to manage branch workflow. And it has become popular with many GIT users. And definitely this type of version control system also helps the programmers, the developers, to revert the code files back to their previous state if it is required. and it helps them to recall and revert the entire project back to its previous state if it is required for some reason. And it also helps to compare code senses over the specific duration of time. So I believe the way in which the keynote speaker was sharing the content, it has become basically a workshop, or almost hands-off on experiences have been demonstrated by today's keynote speaker, Mofizul Islam Akash, one of the most intelligent, innovative, and most productive mind I have ever worked with. And many thanks to the keynote speaker. He delivered another seminar few months back for the students of Department of Computer Science and Engineering of Green University of Bangladesh. I believe that we'll have a good collegial relationship over the period of time, and our students have learned a lot from this workshop, especially the importance of code repository, and why did the code need to be changed from time to time, and how to control the versions, specifically the branching control system, and definitely what are the performance benefits, security benefits, flexibilities offered by Git, and how can it be utilized for a quality open source project. All these issues have been explored here, and I believe our students have learned a lot to use it in their own works in future days. And definitely in the pathway of an undergraduate student, learning from a basic structural programming language over the course of time, they are being introduced with object-oriented database programming, network programming, web programming, and many other languages. And definitely, they are being involved with the development of different projects, be it a small or a very non-professional or non-practical, but to some extent the features are being incorporated into their projects. But rather than trashing them away just after completing the semester, if you nurse it over course of time, the period, and in different projects or different courses, if you try to build your concepts from a very inception point towards a large scale practical software system, where you are at the end of your fourth year final, using Git, that will give you a very good experience and useful for practical life. So thank you very much again to the Department of Computer Science and Engineering and the IEEE student branch and Computer Society student branch, who have initiated this workshop. And also a special thanks go to the Honorable Vice Chancellor and the keynote speaker for facilitating our students and sharing thoughts with our students. And also thank you to the department and the organizers for inviting me to be here. Thank you very much again. Assalamu alaikum.
For your valuable presence and inspiring message. Now, I would like some valuable words with us.
Navila, could you please repeat, because we were unable to hear you before?
Hello. I'm not hearing what you have said. Could you please repeat?
Yes, sir. Please repeat.
So I was inviting you to share some valuable words with us.
Okay, thank you very much, Sajan Nabila Akhtar. At the very outset, I would say that I'm not a technical person. So many of the things that has been discussed by our keynote speaker, to me, it's Greek and Latin to me. So this comments, I would like to address the House, respected Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Mohammad Abdul Razak, Chair of the Department, Professor Dr. Mohammad Saiful Azad, our colleagues and the students, and the most important, the keynote speaker, Mohammad Mufizul Islam. I must say that it was a great opportunity for me to remain present here, although I don't know anything about what Mr. Mufizul Islam was discussing about it. What I realized that this is the GIT is the most commonly used version of the control system, and it is being widely used. Our keynote speaker, the speaker was basically trying to introduce this concept, the software, among our students. I also realized that in order to really maintaining the file control through this presentation, I came to know at least that it is also needed not only for the CSE students, also for the science business school students also. I feel a little nervous that I don't know anything about it, but it is also needed for us also. So how can we really learn it? That is a challenge for us. The people, those who are not really totally used to exposing the software programming. That is the message I'm getting from here, that if you know this Git software, then even the non-technical person can get some kind of benefit out of it. In our business schools and social sciences, we are also dealing with a lot of projects and a lot of versions that you have mentioned that, and it is also needed how we can really keep on changing different versions, retaining the original idea. That definitely this is a good idea. I believe that if you can come to know, and we can get a lot of benefit out of it. But it's a process of knowing, At least I'm getting one message from your presentation, Mr. Mafizul Islam, that it is always also true in our case, we also need to change different time. It's same version, we need to have new versions. But I get to at least one idea that how we can really retain the original version and giving new names and changing a different way. So thank you very much for spending your time with us and educating our students and our faculty members, introducing Git. At least I can say that now I need to know what is GIT. That is the advantage for me. So thank you once again, our chair, for inviting me to remain present. Although I didn't get much of it, but I at least came to know that you are really doing a great job for our department and bringing new people, particularly Mr. Mafizul Islam. He is an expert in this area, I realized, and then he's also adding a lot of contribution in this respective area. And I do believe in near future, you might also get his support so that we can be learning it. Thank you once again for inviting me to remain as a chief guest. I'm sorry I couldn't really able to add any values further to your presentations on that. I really appreciate our Pro Vice Chancellor. He has also given the good idea about the utilization of the GIT version control systems. So I also learned from him also. So thank you once again for inviting me, and thanks to the department and other those who have organized this wonderful presentation. May Allah bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you. Your presence means a lot to us. Now, here an announcement for all the student participants of today's workshop. I am glad to share with you that all the registered participants of the workshop will get provided an e-certificate. If you didn't completed your registration via Google form and still attending today's workshop, you are requested to give your name and email in the chat box. Now it is the time for concluding speech. I would now like to request Professor Dr. Muhammad Saiful Ajad Sir, the Chairperson of Department of Computer Science and Engineering of Green University of Bangladesh and the session chair of today's session, to say a few words to us. Hello, am I audible?
Thank you, Nabila. During the start of the session, I already have given my speech, so I will not prolong this session. My only request to all the students here is that please, whatever you have learned today, already Provisy sir was emphasizing, utilize. We have group assignment, we have group project, we have thesis project. So please utilize it in your courses, so that whatever you have learned, if you practice, then definitely you will learn more. So try to implement the concept, whatever you have learned today, in your running courses, so that the knowledge will increase in this particular case. As our speaker were saying, and Provisy sir were saying, that most of the software companies actually they prefer Git for collaborative works. So please, my request would be utilize it in your courses. Thank you. I would like to thank our Provisy sir for attending the session. I would like to thank our Vice Chancellor sir for attending the session, and I would like to thank our speaker for discussing all these things regarding Git. As well as I would like to thank the organizer, IEEE Computer Society Student Branch Chapter, GUB, IEEE Student Branch, respective committee of CEC department. Thank you.
Seeking permission from you to end the session.
Sure, we can.
Thank you, everyone. We are ending the session here. Allah